Welcome one and all back to Final Fantasy Fridays. It's been what, the best half of a year? Or 2 years? Best half of 2 years, which is 1 year. I think it's been 1 year. It's been a year since we last spoke, even though we've never spoken before. Because I live in the dark ages and I don't know how to communicate properly. I don't have a mouth that's sewn up. Just kidding, I do have a mouth, or I wouldn't be able to speak to you right now. But we've missed a fuck ton of stuff. We've missed basically everything that's ever happened ever in the Final Fantasy universe. So basically we've missed quite a few releases since we last spoke, but mainly the one of them is Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, which was the western port of Final Fantasy Type 0 that came over here, and it was released exclusively for the PS4 and Xbox One. I don't own either of them, so I'm a bit bummed out about that. I never really got to play it. I haven't really seen much about it, but I've been reading up about it, and I think it's just recently that it's just sold 1 million copies. This game, Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, which is such a clunky title to say. I'm just going to say Type 0 from now on. You know what it is, I'm sure. But Type 0 was also bundled with the Final Fantasy 15 demo. A demo version of Final Fantasy 15, which people, they liked. A lot of people like it. I think I haven't looked into it much. I haven't watched any gameplays because I don't want to ruin it for myself, because I'm going to get a PS4, hopefully just for Final Fantasy 15 now. We've been waiting for this game for years and years and years. I think it's, what, maybe 11 years? Is it 11? I don't know. Something like that. It was 9 years at one point, so I'm assuming it's 11 now. But since it got revealed last year at E3, or the year before, whatever it was the year before, at E3, people have been really, well, skeptical isn't the word. People have been jizzing themselves for this game, which I've been waiting for a long time, and it's gone through a lot of changes. The only thing I can really remember is that guy with the green tongue. And Stella has apparently really changed. I'm not sure if she's still in the game. I've not really seen much of her. But it's apparently a road trip game. It's basically you and your pack of weeaboos travelling from one end of the country to the other end of the country. And you're in this car and there's summons, and it's basically a Final Fantasy game with Final Fantasy taken out of it. And like, I don't know what way to describe it would be. Something else in it, something different. It's Final Fantasy mixed with something else. Now people like that mixed part, that it's new, but not new as in Final Fantasy 13 was new. Final Fantasy 13 was new as in it took the old Final Fantasy stuff and tried to make it all nice and shiny and new and Star Warsy. The Final Fantasy 15 has took some of the old Final Fantasy stuff and brought it back. Like, come on, you can come over here, you can come over here. Cacti, you know, the cactuars and all that, you can come over here. Then it's got new stuff from the Nether Sphere that it's pulled in, like the road trip, the guns, the swords, and the magic, and the cool storyline, and everything's looking good for Final Fantasy 15. It's that type of new where it actually is new. You know, that game companies do that all the time. They do that with Assassin's Creed, sorry, mostly. They say this is new, but it isn't new. It's the old stuff, but shinier, if you know what I mean. But Final Fantasy 15 is new as in it is a different game. The different feeling from the rest of the Final Fantasy games from what I've seen. Well, when I was first into it, it was still Final Fantasy Versus 13. And I loved it. I loved the look of it. I loved the name of it. I loved how it was connected to Final Fantasy 13. I loved Stella. I loved everything about it, really. It was good. It was all good. It looked nice. It looked dark, and it looked. But I thought it looked less like a Final Fantasy game then than it does now. Now that we have actual gameplay, it seems different from what it was. Obviously, from when it first came out, first surfaced 9 years ago. I remember that scene at the party. That's when I first saw it, was at the party, and they were looking at the painting of Etro, Noctis, and Stella, and it looked great. It looked so good. It was shiny, brand spanking new. But now, we've missed out an entire generation of consoles. So that's how long it took for this game to fucking do anything. An entire generation of consoles. Now it's back, and it's more shinier. It's more newer. But the HUD's different. The gameplay's different. The characters interact differently. And I like the way it looks. But these new male characters that they brought in, I'm not too sure. I mean, I'm not a meninist or anything, you know. Men are alright. but women are better, if that makes any sense. It doesn't really. But essentially, this, yeah, we're talking about Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, which was okay, did well over here. As I said, it sold 1 million copies. And this is part of the Fabula Nova Crystalla mythos. And when this game was first out, there was no like inkling that it would ever come over here. And people were complaining, and then people were like, oh, it's never going to come over, what we're going to do, and people were buying other stuff. But I'm kind of lost my track here because I was reading something as well. But yeah, it's part of the Fabula No Crystalla thing. Fabula No Crystalla thing. And along with Final Fantasy 13, 13-2, Lightning Returns, and Final Fantasy Agito, which was the running name for Final Fantasy Type 0. But it's more, this one's more involved with Final Fantasy Type 0 than it is Final Fantasy 13. But the thing that bugs me with this is that they're releasing this series of games on different consoles. Like, Agito's only on mobile right now, and it's coming out on PlayStation Vita as Agito Plus for no fucking reason. Type 0 HD is only on the new platforms. Final Fantasy 15 is only on the new platforms. Lightning Returns 13 and 13-2 are on the old platforms. I don't understand why they can kind of keep a series like this but split it apart into different consoles, you know? I mean, they gotta do that. You need to give, I suppose they can't really hang back, because the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 are going to become obsolete soon. I'm going to be an old fucking tortoise playing 13-2 on my PS2. PS3. PS2? What on earth? That also reminds me, we also missed Steam releases, which have been a more frequent thing now. We have Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 7, 5, I'm sure, 3, 8, 11, 14, 13, 13-2. All of them are on Steam now, and people were complaining about the graphics on 13 and 13-2 because you couldn't change the options, which was fucking silly. You couldn't change the options, which was really bizarre. But I really enjoyed the Steam port. So if you go onto my channel on YouTube, you can find a bit where they had me on Steam, and I made a guide for Final Fantasy 13 about all the bosses. It did pretty well, you know. I put a lot of work in it, so you can check that out if you're needing any help. But essentially, there's been a lot of releases. That's mainly what this episode's going to be about. Everything we've missed. Another thing we've been missing is the Final Fantasy 14 news about this expansion pack called Havensward. I'm obsessed with Final Fantasy 14, man. It is amazing. That game is so good. I don't mind. I don't pay the subscription fees. I buy that time card every now and again, and it is good. It's just so well done. It's so magical. It's what I really want in a game. It's my favourite Final Fantasy game, and I'm hoping it's always going to be. Anything that comes along and beats that, well, it's good. If you check out the episode 28, I did an entire episode about Final Fantasy 14 and essentially how great it has become now. We've missed loads of patches since then, and I've been playing the patches, and they're really good. You can get married, you can actually, you pay for your own ceremony, and invite all your friends and get your photos and everything, like real life wedding ceremonies, not in-game ones. And you get these veteran rewards, which I've been getting loads of them. Just fantastic. But today they released the first 5-minute, well, opening sequence of Havensward, and it looks swerve as fuck. Obviously it's not the same graphics as the game will be, but it looks good. It also looks pretty fucking hard. I mean, I'm only at, what, a level 27, like, shitey mage, and sometimes I embroider stuff in the game, but that's about it. I'm just a kind of noob. I've got a little pet chocobo which I got from my veteran awards, which was a pretty darn good reward if you ask me. So I don't want to talk much about that Havensward thing. I can't show you much, scared of copyright. But if you want to go check it out, I'll leave a link in the description, or you can wait till the outro card and I'll put a little bit there for you can go and see it. But I'm really looking forward to this. I'm going to buy it, I'm going to play through it, I'll maybe do a little let's play or whatever, because I'm going to try and get into them again. But yeah, Final Fantasy 14 is growing, it is massive. I mean, you should go over there, they do seasonal events, you probably know, this is a Final Fantasy channel, probably everybody is subscribed to that shit. But it's honestly so great. One day we'll get a sort of game night going. Maybe do a little dungeon, something like that. I could go with that. That'd be good fun. Not that great at dungeons, mind you, but you know, I'll try my best. Also, in news, there's been another Dissidia game. Essentially confirmed. I'm going to use that word, but it's not got a name yet. But it's an arcade game, and it's going to be released exclusively in Japanese arcades for the first year of its release. So this game, which we haven't really seen much of except there's a lot of screenshots, I'll put a link to them in the description as well, runs on a piece of technology from the PS4 which has been put in the arcades, which essentially means there's going to be a PS4 Dissidia game, which is pretty good. That's a pretty fucking good thing. There's been a lot of Final Fantasy releases on the PS4 this year even. We've got your Type 0, you've got your Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2 remastered are out in the PS4. I think they are anyway. They might not be. And this, which will probably be out soon, next year maybe, because this arcade machine is expected to be released in the fall. You can go and play that in Japanese arcades if you live in Japan. If you do live in Japan, I don't know how you understand what I'm saying right now. You might be a very clever Japanese person. There are quite a lot of them. But essentially, that's it that I can really cover for news right now. What I'm going to talk about now is what's going to happen with the show. What has been happening with the show, even. So essentially, if you have been watching us, thank you very much. I'm pleased that if you're an old fan, please leave your name in the comments and I'll give you a shout out in the next episode. I just want to know if any of you guys are sticking around, or if you're a new fan, let me know. But so I did 2 episodes of season 2 before the show stopped. I'm not going to tell you the reason for that, it's nothing important anyway, but the show stopped 2 episodes in, and this is continuing on from season 2, so this is episode 30 of Final Fantasy Fridays. It took me a while. I've been trying to get the account back for a good few months now, because I couldn't remember the password of the email, but I managed to get in tonight, well, last week, and get everything set up. So there's a little video you can go check out, release video. You can check out the trailer for this season as well, at the outro card. But essentially the show is going to keep this format as it did in season 1, not the first 2 episodes of season 2. We're going to keep it like a sort of news style thing. I'll speak about the news that's happened since the last episode. I'm going to try and get your guys' opinions on it, so I'm going to leave like a question at the end of every episode and answer them in the next one. I think I did that before for a little while before I stopped. But essentially, yeah, we're back, baby. And each season's going to last 6 episodes rather than 20 episodes, which is a bit much for season 1. But go back and watch season 1 if you like, which really was simply done. It was just a wee simple card, and me speaking over it is pretty boring. But so you guys seem to like it, and I really want to get you guys more involved. So this week, what Final Fantasy would you like to see have an HD remaster on the PS4? And it can't be Final Fantasy VII, okay, because everyone will just say that. Tell me what game you'd like to see redone in the PS4 engine and why you would like that. If you just want a simple shout out, leave your name in the comments and a little message if you want me to say it out loud. But yeah, feedback appreciated, guys, and I hope you enjoy the show from now on. Catch you next time.